Welcome back to Just Talking Love.
Welcome back. Just to remind you that you're listening to Just Talking Love, broadcasting from Newstalk 93 FM, right here on the beautiful Warner campus of the University of the West Indies in Kingston, Jamaica.
For help, with a humble heart on bended knee, I'm begging you please, for help.
You're listening to Just Talking Love with Dr. Fabian Stewart.
Lord, put your hand to the handle of my hoe. Let me make another step. Let me go another road. Even though I'm tired, gotta try to make $1 for my wife and kids living over in the hollow. The frost came early last year, and well, Lord, there just wasn't anything to be harvested. Well, with no money and Christmas a-coming, a man's mind takes funny turns. And for a minute I thought to blame you, Lord, but I know better than that. I know that for every row of planting, it takes a heap of praying. And I reckon I've been forgetting mine when the crops die. But you didn't forget me, Lord. And by the time Christmas came, I'd found enough to put a chicken on the table. It wasn't that big turkey I wanted, but it was some mighty good eatings. And the kids all had new shoes. It wasn't those fancy toys they wanted, but their feet were nice and warm. And then I guess I cried a little. And I got down on my knees, and I thanked you, Lord. Remember? Lord, put your hand to the hammer of my hoe. Let me make another step. Help me go another road. Even though I'm tired, gotta try to make $1 for my wife and kids living over in the hollow. And then there was a time my wife said, you just gotta slow down, man. I said, honey, I gotta make it while I can. So I worked 3 days, Lord, without stopping. For Miss Simmons down the road had wood needed chopping. Sam Fowler over east had hay needed baling. Old man Taylor wanted his hopper fixed for spring planting. The 4th day I was down on my back, Lord, but I got it all done before the sky turned black. Now I ain't complaining, Lord, but sometimes when you see me stumble, reach down and lend a helping hand to my back. Make my days a little shorter and my nights a little longer. Lord, make my hammer a little lighter and my dollar a little stronger. And if there's anything I can do for you, Lord, let me know what's to be done. It shall be done. Well, good night, Lord.
Now, I'm hoping that you're beginning to appreciate the troubles that a father goes through. I'm sure that you should now have an appreciation of the responsibility of fathers, and may I say of mothers as well. The last 3 songs explained in detail some of what fathers face from day to day. So sometimes when you see them a bit tired and withdrawn, probably they just want a little time to themselves, to breathe a sigh of relief, or just release themselves from the curse of the day. Probably they just want a little time by themselves to give thanks like this.
wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieve. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Said I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see.
Yes, of course, I suppose fathers need to give thanks, as was brought out in that song, Amazing Grace, played a few moments ago. Just to remind you that you're listening to Just Talking Love. We're broadcasting from News Talk 93 FM right here on the beautiful Mono campus of the University of the West Indies in Kingston, Jamaica. In our studios this evening, we have our panelist, Mrs. Patricia Parker, and our studio engineer is Elmore Jemison, and I'm Fabian.